The same year he wrote and directed The Red House, Delmer Daves helmed a big hit at his home studio, Warner Brothers. Dark Passage was the third movie co-starring Bogart and Bacall, and its unusual technique and Daves' feeling for his hometown of San Francisco made Dark Passage a film noir classic. It was the last crime picture Daves would make, unless you count his 1958 film The Badlanders, a Wild West version of the Asphalt Jungle. In fact, during the 1950s, Daves became something of a specialist in big-budget odors. Starting with Broken Arrow in 1950, Daves directed a series of westerns, Drumbeat, Jubal, The Last Wagon, 3:10 to Yuma, and Cowboy, that were some of the best in the genre at that time. But his work never earned the cult reputation of other great 50s westerns by Anthony Mann and Bud Boetticher, likely because he was a writer more than a visual stylist. But Daves rarely made a dud in a career that lasted into the mid-60s. In his rise at Warner Brothers during the 1940s, Delmer Daves often worked with writer Albert Maltz. As I noted in the intro, Maltz was summoned to join the Red House crew on location to make script changes on the fly. While he was there, Maltz and Edward G. Robinson became pals, and when Robinson became the target of early HUAC probes into communists in the movie colony, it was Maltz who wrote the full-page statement of rebuttal that Robinson paid to have printed in influential newspapers. It did the job for a while, as Robinson was able to keep making pictures, including the top-flight noirs Key Largo, Night Has a Thousand Eyes, and House of Strangers. Maltz did not fare as well. After contributing to the script of the 1948 classic The Naked City, Maltz was branded one of the Hollywood 10 and was effectively disappeared from the movie business. Although he did write Broken Arrow for Daves, for which his front, Michael Blankfort, earned an Oscar nomination. Maltz enjoyed a brief comeback in the late 60s, writing on a couple of Clint Eastwood movies directed by Don Siegel, Two Mules for Sister Sarah and The Beguiled. The Red House was the movie debut of young actress Aline Roberts, an Alabama-born beauty in the mold of Kathy O'Donnell. But despite showing well in films like Knock on Any Door and Union Station, her career never really took off. She worked steadily in the 1950s before opting for retirement and a return to her native state, where she lived until her passing in 2019. Longer careers were enjoyed by newcomers Rory Calhoun and Julie London. They'd made films before this, but their tempestuous pairing in The Red House really caught the public's attention. I mean, if high school girls actually looked like Julie London, I never would have graduated. Calhoun became a charter member of Agent Henry Wilson's stable of beefcake actors, and he maintained a steady career in westerns and costume adventures like Jacques Tourneur's Way of the Gaucho. TV work and low-budget horror movies kept him working all the way into the 90s. Julie London, of course, would become known more for her 32 albums than her acting. Torchy ballads, including the definitive Cry Me a River, made her one of the most sultry singing stars of the 50s. Her musical career got a boost from her marriage to actor, producer, and full-time jazz lover Jack Webb, but not her movie roles. Only after she and Webb divorced did London's acting career take off, with good parts in late 50s films like Voice in the Mirror, Man of the West, and The Wonderful Country. In England, she starred in a strange 1958 film called A Question of Adultery, in which the plot hinged on London being artificially inseminated. The actress, not the city. As for Lon McAllister, he made good on his promise to get out of the business once his boyishness had matured into adulthood. He made his last movie in 1953, and after that invested smartly in real estate. Next week, Noir Alley ventures to Sin City, USA, which in mid-century America meant Phoenix City, Alabama, per capita the most vice-ridden town in the nation. 1955's The Phoenix City Story is a brutal and hard-hitting account of the grip organized crime had on this town of only 24,000 citizens. Fortunately, we do not have to go through the woods to get there. Until next week, see you in the shadows.